Welcome to another deep dive today. We're going to be taking a look at a YouTube channel called Kimchi Café.
Okay.
And, they're really using AI in some very interesting and creative ways.
Yeah.
It's not just about making funny videos, though they do that really well,
Right.
but it's about exploring the potential of AI to make music play with language and even blend cultures.
It's fascinating to me how they're using it to do things that we traditionally think of as being, like uniquely human things.
Yeah.
Tongue twisters, for example. They rely on a deep understanding of the nuances of sound and meaning in a particular language.
Mhm.
And yet, Kimchi Cafe has managed to use AI to generate tongue twisters in a huge range of languages, from Finnish to Inuktitut to Maltese.
And it's not even just about translating existing tongue twisters. It's about creating entirely new ones.
Yeah.
Which means that the AI has to understand the underlying principles of what makes a tongue twister work. It has to know how to choose words that are phonetically similar but semantically distinct, how to create rhythmic patterns that trip us up, and even how to inject a bit of humor into the mix.
And that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it raises the question, can AI be truly creative?
Yeah.
Can it come up with something genuinely novel, something that a human wouldn't have thought of?
Well, I think their music really pushes the boundaries of that because they've got songs about everything from Roman soldiers discovering forró music to donkeys becoming internet celebrities in the Brazilian sertão. And the lyrics are often witty and insightful, even if they are written by a machine.
Like Forró de Roma, IA, for instance.
Yeah.
It tells the story of a Roman soldier who gets swept up in the energy of forró music and decides to trade in his toga for a cowboy hat. It's a funny concept, but it also touches on some deeper themes like the clash between tradition and modernity and the power of music to transcend cultural boundaries.
Yeah, and Oje Gata online, IA,
Yeah.
tells the story of a donkey who becomes a TikTok star.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't think a song about a donkey on social media could be profound, but it actually raises some interesting questions about the impact of technology on traditional ways of life.
Absolutely. On the surface, it's a humorous take on the idea of a donkey becoming an influencer.
Mhm.
But if you dig a little deeper, you can see that it's also a commentary on the way that technology is changing even the most remote corners of the world.
So they're using AI to make us laugh, but also to make us think, which is a pretty impressive feat, I have to say, and it really speaks to the potential of AI to be used in creative and thought-provoking ways.
Yeah, and they've got a song about philosophers getting drunk and having a debate at a bar.
Oh, philosophers gone wild.
Philosophers Gone Wild, AI.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how they use humor to make complex ideas more accessible. By imagining these great thinkers in such a relatable situation,
Yeah.
it makes their ideas less intimidating and more engaging.
And it's funny to picture Socrates, known for his serious questioning, getting a little too enthusiastic with his inquiries after a few drinks.
Right.
But it also makes you think about the nature of philosophical debate and how it can be influenced by things like alcohol and social context. Do you think they're trying to make a point about the human side of philosophy through this song?
It's certainly possible they seem to be interested in exploring the ways in which technology can shed light on the human condition. And in this case, they're using AI to show that even the most profound thinkers are still human, with all the foibles and contradictions that entails.
It's like AI is giving us a new lens through which to view ourselves and the world around us.
And that's what makes Kimchi Cafe so fascinating. They're not just using AI to create cool stuff. They're using it to make us question our assumptions about creativity, culture, and even what it means to be human.
Yeah, it's amazing to think that AI can generate such creative content. We've always thought of creativity as something uniquely human, but Kimchi Cafe is really pushing the boundaries.
I think what's interesting is that they're not just using AI to imitate human creativity.
Yeah.
They're using it as a tool to explore new possibilities, to create things that wouldn't be possible without the help of technology.
Yeah.
I mean, how could a human possibly create tongue twisters in dozens of languages that they don't speak?
That's a good point. I think it really challenges our assumptions about what AI is and what it can do. We tend to think of AI as being cold and calculating, but Kimchi Cafe is showing us that it can also be playful, imaginative, and even subversive.
Exactly. And I think that's why their work is so compelling. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the way they're using it to challenge our perceptions and expand our understanding of what's possible.
Okay, so we've talked about the humor and the creativity, but there's another aspect of the work that I find really intriguing, and that's their use of AI to blend cultures. We touched on this a bit with
Yeah.
Forró de Roma, IA, but they do in other songs as well.
Absolutely. And it's something that AI is uniquely suited for
Mhm.
because AI can process and analyze vast amounts of data from different cultures. It can identify patterns and connections that humans might miss.
So, for example, in Foro de Roma, the AI was able to draw on both Roman and Brazilian musical traditions to create something entirely new and unexpected.
Right.
It's like it's creating a cultural fusion dish, but with music instead of food.
I love that analogy, and I think it speaks to the potential of AI to help us bridge cultural divides by identifying commonalities and highlighting differences. AI can help us appreciate the richness and diversity of human culture.
And maybe even create something new and beautiful in the process, which brings us to another interesting point: the role of AI in shaping the future of art and creativity.
Hmm.
Do you think AI will eventually replace human artists?
That's the question a lot of people are asking,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a simple either-or scenario. I think AI will likely become an increasingly important tool for artists, helping them to create new forms of art and explore new creative possibilities.
So it's more of a collaboration than a competition?
Exactly. And I think that's a good thing because it means that AI can help us push the boundaries of human creativity even further. It can help us to see the world in new ways, to imagine new possibilities, and to create art that is truly groundbreaking.
I'm really excited to see where this all leads. If AI can already create tongue twisters in Inuktitut and songs about TikTok donkeys, who knows what it will be capable of in the future.
I think the possibilities are truly endless, and I, for one, am looking forward to seeing what kinds of amazing things humans and AI can create together in the years to come.
We've been focusing mostly on the fun and lighthearted side of Kimchi Cafe, but there's another aspect of their work that I think is worth exploring: their ability to tap into more complex human emotions.
We are talking about my ex took the dog, but I got the cat, AI.
Yes, exactly. It's a total departure from their usual upbeat style. It's a heartbreaking ballad about a breakup, and it really showcases the AI's ability to convey raw emotion.
I agree. The lyrics are surprisingly poignant, and the melody is melancholy, but also strangely comforting. It's like the AI is able to understand and express the complexities of human heartbreak in a way that feels genuine and authentic.
Yeah, there's a line in the song that really stuck with me. She took my dog, but the memory's past now. It's me and old Wisters. We'll get through that. It's simple, but it speaks volumes about the healing power of time and the importance of companionship, even if it's just with a cat.
I think that line really resonates with people because it captures a universal experience. We've all been through heartbreak, and we all know the comfort that can come from having a pet by our side during tough times.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the AI is tapping into a shared human experience.
It's definitely a different side of Kimchi Cafe, and it shows that AI can be used to create art that is not just entertaining, but also emotionally resonant and thought-provoking.
I think it's important to remember that AI is ultimately a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It all depends on the intentions of the people who are using it.
So in the hands of someone like the creators of Kimchi Cafe, who are clearly using AI for creative and positive purposes, we can see the potential for AI to create art that is not only beautiful, but also meaningful and even transformative. And I think that's really exciting.
I couldn't agree more. Kimchi Cafe is a great example of how AI can be used to push the boundaries of creativity, to explore new possibilities, and to connect with people on an emotional level.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from tongue twisters to philosophical bar fights to heartbreak ballads. It's been a wild ride, but before we wrap up our deep dive into Kimchi Cafe, there's one last thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
The name itself, Kimchi Cafe. What do you think it means? Is it just a random combination of words, or is there something deeper going on?
I think it's a brilliant choice. I've
Right.
named kimchi, as you know, as a traditional Korean dish, and a cafe is a place where people gather to socialize and exchange ideas.
So it's like they're bringing together two different cultures, two different ways of experiencing the world.
Exactly. And I think that's a perfect metaphor for what Kimchi Kong Cafe is all about. They're using AI to blend different cultures, different ideas, different ways of thinking, and to create something new and exciting in the process.
It's like they're creating a global melting pot of creativity where anything is possible and the only limit is the imagination.
I love that. And I think it's a powerful message, especially in a world that often feels divided and polarized.
Kimchi Cafe is showing us that we don't have to choose between our different identities. We can embrace them all, and we can use technology to create something beautiful and meaningful from the fusion. Yeah, it really is inspiring to see how they're using AI to, kind of break down barriers and bring people together. I mean, who would have thought that a Korean fermented cabbage dish and a European-style coffee shop could have so much in common?
Right. It's a reminder that we have more in common than we often realize, and that technology, when used thoughtfully, can help us to see those connections more clearly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Kimchi Cafe, what's the biggest takeaway for you? What do you hope our listeners walk away thinking about?
I think for me, the biggest takeaway is that AI is not just a tool for solving problems or automating tasks. It's also a tool for expanding our creativity, exploring new possibilities, and for connecting with each other on a deeper level. Kimchi Cafe is a perfect example of that they're using AI to create art that is funny, thought-provoking, and surprisingly moving. And they're doing it in a way that celebrates diversity and challenges our assumptions about what's possible.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. Kimchi Cafe is a reminder that technology can be a force for good in the world, and that AI in particular has the potential to help us create a more beautiful, more just, and more connected future. What stands out to you the most about this channel?
The humor, definitely. It is so refreshing to see AI being used in a way that is not just technically impressive, but also genuinely funny. It makes the whole topic of AI feel less intimidating and more approachable.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the humor is also what makes their work so effective. And it disarms us and allows us to engage with these complex ideas in a way that feels playful and enjoyable.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, hey, AI isn't something to be afraid of. It's something to be explored, to be played with, and to be used to create something beautiful and meaningful.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Kimchi Cafe. If you're listening and you haven't already checked them out, we highly recommend that you do. It's a fascinating glimpse into the future of creativity and a reminder that even in a world increasingly dominated by technology, there's still room for joy, for wonder, and for a little bit of kimchi-infused fun.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to create something amazing with AI yourself after all. If a donkey can become a TikTok star, anything is possible.